Alright, welcome back, guys. So, this is the Obra Dinn, the crew, and in between the clip, after the last one, I did some research, and I think the only one that really properly describes this guy would have to be Maba from New Guinea. We didn't see him speak in his death. We haven't heard him speak yet. And that might be true for a lot of characters, but also from what I've seen, Guineans are tattooed a lot and like to show it. And he is the only one that really seems to be tattooed that much and show it. So I'm gonna put my guess on Maba and see where that brings. A lot of this game is using partial information and real world knowledge. That's one thing I've noticed as I've been going about this whole game. So even if we're not correct, we are able to do some deductions and use the game's mechanic of placing in three and seeing that they're not right. So we know one of them's not right, and so it is a bit of a struggle at times. But anyways, let's return. So yeah, this is the scene. This guy's death. This guy right there exploded. And we've given our exit door. We analyzed this scene. We found out that guy's probably just going to drown. Because there's likely no way he's surviving being knocked off the ship like that. And so I'm gonna head back. Head back in. I'm gonna go back to the person who I am identifying as Margaret. I'm gonna go back to his death. And I'm gonna quickly investigate some stuff. Because you always have to investigate like edges of the ships. Who is where, what's happening. Do we see, like in the other one, we saw some guy off the ship here, and one of them we saw a tentacle grabbing some guy up. Do we see that anywhere here? We do not. Okay. I just had to confirm. Oh no, there are three people. Three people we can't quite identify. They are falling to their doom. So, I'm going to mark three people falling from a boat. And they all probably drowned. There's no way any of them are surviving this. I'd be shocked if any of them managed to survive and get out of this catastrophe. So I marked those down in my notes. We can't zoom in on them and get a good look at who they are right now, so we can't quite just identify. But when we get their identities, we will have this deduction placed. Right. So that gives us a lot of information. Like I said, he's going to get some guns tossed in. Just noticing what everyone is doing. Even just like slightly pinpointing their jobs. That just helps immensely at times. That can be a deciding factor at times as well. So, really good. Now, from that one scene, as we can see, this blurry crate has been slid up, so we now have been granted access to the second floor, the gun deck. So we can nosy around a little bit. See, the doors are locked here. Got some cannons, and they're letting out clips. We'll get back to him really quick. He'll be the first one review, but there's another few things we should investigate as well. So first thing is this one. There's a man and he's dead. If we look in our ship, he is in the midship. So whoever this guy is, we can probably assume he's a midshipman, and there's probably a knife involved, but really nice. We'll have to do the death scene to get more information on And there's other things we can do as well. One particular thing to note is we should go into every room. So the steward's room, just take a note of what their clothing looks like. So we have steward's clothes in there. Let's see if we can identify. So this is the bosun's room. So this little shaped thing, that might be useful. And here, cannon is 23 by that. Just a few little things to notice. We can even go to the mate's room. So here's that. So we have, I believe this is the third mate. Yeah. The first mate's locked. Second mate. We won't really find any uniforms in here because they will go in the bed. But for like some of the more generic clothes, we can probably. So let's go here and do this. What happened here? Alright. So got some people up here. We aren't able to pass these people, unfortunately. Can't identify this guy. He was the guy who was pointing at us. He was the guy who exploded. Just pointing at him. So that is something to note. Oh, this door has been opened, so that's something we should note later on as well. We're trying to go back there. And this guy, he was. Well, we don't know who he is. We know, though, by his uniform, he's an unknown steward. So he's a steward of some sort, which probably leads us to believe these are the stewards. The 4 stewards, for at least probably like the mates. So if we flip to a thing here, we could probably identify them to be the mate stewards. But let's not get into that too specifically. Got another dead body there. It's that guy. We got Martin right there. Dead corpse. This man here. And we really don't have too much to go on right now. But we will be able to put in the faith that he was crushed by a loose cannon, and that he is a steward of some sort. Which is why I went and looked at the steward's office. Well, most specifically the steward's, because that's the only one that actually shows you a uniform on this deck, as far as I'm aware. Crushed by a loose cannon. And it says unknown. And this is the text that appears. Crushed by a loose cannon. So, yeah. Now, I think this game is wrong in assuming that you shouldn't be able to enter stuff. I'm trying anyways, because I'm not here to enter a specific, I'm here to enter a general. And it gives you these options for generals. So I'm going to go and put him as an unknown steward. Just because the uniform. Right? And like I said, based on that, we could probably identify the others, but seeing them in person and actually seeing the YouTube, it could change our perspective on this. So this guy here, there's this guy here, all that jazz. All this stuff is shaped around some sort of kitchen, looks like. Probably we can find the cupboard in it. Yeah. So this is all that. There's some blood here. Some particles coming out of that. There's a lot of bodies, but let's use this and lead us to our next body. Right here. Alright. Adding another body to our repertoire. If you can really call it a body repertoire. But one thing I do want to note before I continue this, I'm going to go view this one next first, but after we're done with this little chain, as you can see, this door has been opened. There is a body here. So it might be something to note a bit later. Alright. see what happened with this guy. Alright. So, Squid got the cannon. Cannon was fused, shot off. This guy, identified by the top hat, is dead. He got shot by a Squid with the cannon. We have these guys over here. So, we got this guy. The guy was knifed. The guy who was clubbed. He, Mama, who I've identified, crushed by a Squid, or torn apart, actually, more specifically. And that is the only guys we have. We have another dead body here, but we cannot identify him, or even place a sus, or even place a fake him. So, and yeah, that's all we really get. Because this is just a really action-packed scene. Cannon fighting off. That's what created the hole in the Bosun's head. A few other little things at the cannon. This is Cannon Squad. You can assume these people work together. So maybe they're all top man if our assumption on Maba is to be correct. Our top man should work together. So this is interesting. There's two people here, but we only saw the body of one. So we know that the body was the top hat guy. We identified that. So he was shot with a cannon by Beast. By the Squid. We can call him a Beast, right? And yeah, we can't identify him yet, but let's just head back here really quick. Is there anyone else we can identify at this point? Also, my assumption on these two, I'm assuming, is also correct, just because why would they be unblurred, right? You're only able to identify people after they are unblurred. So, it is valid to assume that when someone's unblurred, you should endeavor to figure them out. That will lead you more on the right track, because you know what information you have at that point, and you should know within the partial information you get from the game that it's going to lead you to it. But so. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. But you should always endeavor to continually check back to that image, because that image will prove to be very useful. And so notice there's only one corpse here still. So either he was blown out the window, or he somehow he was blown to bits. Maybe we can't see it, but we'll find out pretty soon. Hopefully, what happened to that other guy in that image there. Let's keep on this train. Alright. And so now we see this guy here. He wasn't in the last scene. So if we go like this, to the Doom, right? Because that's where we are right now. We're in the Doom. You'll see here, he wasn't shown here. I know this happened just before that. He's here. So let's hone in on him. Yeah, this is the guy, Man Unknown Fate. I'm gonna say he fell out. He fell overboard, honestly. Oh, right. We don't have any clues on this guy. We have this guy here, crushed by a cannon, by a beast. I'm gonna say crushed by a beast, probably, just because that makes more sense. And then we have Maba again, from the end that we see. And then we have this guy here. We saw him over here a bit later. We saw him over in this direction. So we moved over to him. Yeah, like we said, there's a lot of scenes here where this crew is just working together. So, assuming all of them are top men, assuming, of course, our Marva guess is correct, probably wouldn't be out of the ordinary. So, while we don't know who this is, he was crushed by a beast. He was crushed by a terrible beast. Yeah. And that is our cue to go to the door. So we've analyzed basically all we can here. We can't really find much more information at this point. Now, firstly, I am going to go to this one, to the door that opened here. Check out this corpse before I continue anymore, because this is now opened up. We can now view this corpse here. So let's see what happened. So that was very gross sounding. So let's check this guy out. This is Edward Spratt. So this is the artist. He's in a bad way. He's in a very bad way. Let's see what information we can all get from this. Do we see anyone around just falling somewhere? You know, those are things you always have to consider. You see this guy here. We're going to have to investigate this a lot more. So this guy sleeping here. Number 45 is sleeping here. We see some more here. We got a steward, Martin. This is probably, you know, if we were to just guess by this now, he is walking with Martin. So I think it's a safe bet to call him a third mate steward. I don't think that would be out of the ordinary. So we have two so far. Two not guesses, but two guesses and fates. You don't need to just identify people, you also have to determine their fate, right? So we're going here. We got you. You're this man here. Is that a 41? It's a 41, I think. We'll take a closer look at that. And this scene is going to require, this is going to be a lot of analysis. So this is part 2 of the duel. So he died. He met an unfold fate. No, he was crushed by a beast. And there we go. 3 more fates. So that locks it down. Edward Spratt, crushed by a terrible beast. Roderick Anderson, third mate Stewart. We identified that. And Baba. So we know he's a top man, which means the others, we could probably pinpoint a little bit together that they might be top men. Who knows? Of course, we can't really tell at this point. Stuff is just a little bit too vague. Now, it's telling me to go, but I really think I identified this person. This person's popping up as clear. So let's check that number that's by their bed. 41, Wei Li. I think that suits him. I think, you know, these numbers mean a lot. Now we can't determine this guy. He fell overboard though. We don't know what happened to him yet, but we can know they are buddies, and his bed's probably here. So whoever he is, he's at least buddies with number 41 as we identified him. Then we got X. No, that's very specific. We got 56, 57. Let's see 56 and 57. Just in our book here. '56 and 57. Henry Brennan, Alexander Booth. Right? So they might be buddies of some sort. 45. Now I don't want to drag this on by just looking at these guys, but 43, 44. You'd assume there's others down here, but maybe not. And this guy here, again, he looks like some sort of steward. Is he in a steward's outfit? Actually, I don't think he's in a steward's outfit. He definitely is. And there's a few people here that definitely are, but I don't think he's in a steward's outfit. And yeah, there's not. I don't know. Is the squid popped up yet? And then go up here. This is where we see more stuff. So there's this guy here. He's the guy who falls off later. I've marked him as top row turban in my notes. So he's in the top row. Where's the turban? And we have another body. So this is probably where our compass is leading us. So we have you. And that is definitely odd. There's nobody else here. No boat, no nothing. So maybe this will reveal more information. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's all we can really garner from this scene specifically. So let's go view this body. Now remember, earlier or later in the Doom we saw 3 people falling in this chapter. And by later I mean later in parts, not later in what we see. But earlier in what we've seen, later in the part, we saw some people fall. Do I have to stick with the thing? Alright. Hang on with it. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Because it wants to know that you know where it's going. It does this. I don't understand why it swirls around everything, but it goes generally around. So we know this guy here. Well, we don't know him, but we know he's died. Okay, so let's take a quick look at him. Alright. So this is certainly interesting. So first off, he called him a Blade Dane because he wanted on the boat. So let's first look here and see any Danish people. So we have England, France, Italy, Formosa, going down, we got Denmark, that's Danish, and that's the only one. So we could probably deduce this guy's Lars Nende. Okay? It's all really able to deduce. And now notice, there's a boat here. So you carrying some sort of something. You, and I'm imagining probably you, who is a brother. So let's see, where are their brothers? We got 2 Peters. So Nathan Peters, Samuel Peters. So we know he's an unknown seaman, at the very least. But we really know the killer of Lars is Nathan or Samuel Peters. Okay? We can also assume that he somehow killed the other who was not Romans. And yeah. And so I think I'm also going to note here that the killer of Lars, Nathan or Samuel Peters, he probably drowned. And on the boat with above, I'm gonna identify him as black, just based on his voice. He had a voice that seemed African American in nature. Drowned. And then the last guy, we'll say man on boat carrying something. On the boat above, he was carrying something. Or he's carrying stuff. Now I'll mark him as drowned as well. We can't exactly mark their fates yet, but we can analyze this. And those are the only people present for this murder here. It's very clear and cut murder. Now, Lars Linde, Seaman, met an unknown fate. So let's first take a look. Is there some let me on or my dead body bloody day? How's that? No cause of trouble is getting the boat. Think I'd forget? Killed my brother. Things were fault. Somebody song lies. So there's nothing really like maybe there's an accent difference. Men unknown fate. He was clubbed. Is there a England and Nathan? Also England. Yeah, there's no real way to determine who's who. In this scenario. Even though it did say we could identify this man, presumably. I don't think it's very possible at this point. We'd have to see his brother and identify his brother first, right? It's not easy at this point. Did he meet them though? Fate. We can discuss their fates. Okay, so I'm gonna just say all three of these men, they drowned. Drowned by a beast. They were thrown in the air by the squid. They were the only three that left on a boat. And we see in the next scene they did leave by a boat. We know that none of these people appear in the next scene. And then we know that later 3 people fell from a boat. So my assumption, these 3 here fell from a boat and died. So let's head. Turn of the Obra Dinn. Yeah. So they do. Right. So, we have a bunch of fates here. This guy, he probably drowned. Yeah, top row tournament drowned by a beast. We don't know this man yet. None of these really caught men meant unknown fate. Ooh, where did he appear? I'm gonna have to check that. We know that Finley Dalton probably drowned by a beast. He could have been torn apart. He could have not been drowned too. There's a lot of aspects here. We don't know. We don't know all these guys, but we're able to input some of this, and I'm gonna actually see some memories. Yeah, navigate from here. This soul appeared first. So first memory. Invoke bookmarks. First memory was here. Did he appear? He was. Yeah, he was hanging out. Right. There's a second memory. He didn't appear in this memory. He didn't appear in this memory. And he didn't appear in this memory. He didn't appear in this memory. He also, but he did appear in this one. Yeah, he did appear in this one. And then he also did appear in this one. So let's go check, actually. Let's go recheck evidence first, because that would give us the last place he was seen. Maybe there's a corpse I missed falling off the boat. Something I should have identified. Yeah, right there. Yeah, I'm gonna assume he's drowned by a beast. And so, I don't know if that is to be solved fates yet. If I have to go look and maybe change some answers. We got drowned beast, clubbed by unknown. Yeah, so, no, it's not. Yeah, it's not solved yet. The door's open. Yeah, had to double check that. Because there's no way he's grabbed by the guy. He's right on the edge. I'd be surprised. Yeah, fingers off over there. Like, probably drowned. They probably were pulled off the ship and drowned. If not, they were torn apart or strangled or something. Something along those lines. Anyways, I believe we have some bodies. Some things to figure out. Some more stuff to look at. But before we do that, I am going to end it off. The only one who we haven't identified that, according to the game, is currently possible to identify is this guy. So, like Mava, I'm going to look into it, see what I can find on it, and see if I can identify him early. Or do we have to wait until his brother's demise is shown to us? Alright, guys. Peace.